Well, good morning. This is Plant Smart Living with Farmer Fred. We're out here in my vegetable garden. It's December, the middle of December. It's just a nice seasonably warm weather out here. So I just want to thank you for joining me today. Today I wanted to really talk about a very important issue, and that's the benefits of a whole food plant-based diet. And so, our fuel source for healthy living is out here in our garden. All the greens and the potatoes and the carrots and all that, that's our energy source for living. And so we're going to go inside into the kitchen, and talk about the benefits of a whole food plant-based lifestyle. So we're in the kitchen, and I wanted to talk about the benefits of a healthy lifestyle are enormous. And the information here, there's a list here that I got from the book, The China Study. And I had the privilege of meeting T. Colin Campbell in the spring. My wife and I were on the holistic holiday at sea cruise, and we had the privilege, the honor to meet Dr. Campbell, and then also Caldwell Esselstyn was there, and we got to meet him, and also Dr. Barnard. And so, what we're gonna do today is go over the benefits of a healthy lifestyle. And so, for me, I've followed the food pyramid, that the government provided for us. I've followed that most of my life, 57 years. Most of us have began our life following just the standard American diet, as they could say, or the SAD diet. And so, the benefits are amazing. They're enormous. It's a big list. And so we're just going to take some time and slowly go down this list and learn about letting food be our medicine. It's Hippocrates who is the father of modern medicine. He's the one that says, let food be thy medicine and medicine be thy food. And so, I used to have a poster on my refrigerator too that says about food choices. They can either be the healthiest foods for us to eat, fuel for our bodies, or they can be the slowest form of poison. And so, we have our choices as far as what foods to put in our mouth. And also another reason why we're doing this video in the kitchen is because, weight loss really begins in the kitchen, or health begins in the kitchen. Fitness begins in the gym. Sadly, the medical system today, they have everybody out there exercise. And, the saying goes, you just can't out-exercise a bad diet, And so, putting the right fuel in your bodies with a little bit of fitness, you're going to see just huge results. And so, we all love to have good results. And so anyhow, let's, one of the first things is on the list is to live longer, and so, look at the Asians. They live to their 80s and 90s, they're healthy and trimmed, and they just basically follow a starch-based diet with some vegetables, maybe a little tiny bit of fish. And so, but to live longer, how wonderful that can be. My father died when he was 47, and so from colon cancer. And so, had I known this information back then and shared that with him, and he would have adopted this lifestyle, I'm almost positive he'd probably still be alive today. And so, the benefits are amazing. So you can get to live longer. I've been on this plant-based lifestyle for 3 years now. Come January, it will be my plant-anniversary, as you could say. And so, so you can get to live longer, be around for your family, your grandchildren, have more energy, and so on. So to live longer, I think, life on this earth is very precious. And so to be here for our loved ones, to help them, and to be here is a wonderful thing. And so we also can, another thing on the list is to look and feel younger. I think of Dr. John McDougall on his website. He has a whole list of success stories that you can go under and click on that and just read all the benefits of these people that they've changed their fuel. You know, they've gotten away from the meat, the dairy, the oils, and you know, you could also read the benefits that they've experienced in their lives. So you want under success stories. But so you look and feel younger. You can regain your health and appearance. You'd also have more energy. Again, I've experienced these things. It's like kind of like on the job training. You get to experience the results of taking control of your own health. See, we don't have to become chained or shackled to the medical system. You know, they would like us to be full-time customers. You know, they make a lot of money on selling these drugs. In fact, one of my favorite videos is from Dr. John McDougall. It's called Diet versus Drugs. I would really encourage you to watch that if you haven't seen that already. But he's like on fire in that video there. He covers the medical system and all the profits they make from selling all these drugs. So lose weight, that's here on the list, fourth down. Again, our focus is not about losing weight. It's about regaining your health and appearance. And so to lose your weight is a bonus. You know, my friend Charlie Crabb, he's 81 now. I've been coaching him in nutrition for 2 years, and he says, I lost 20 pounds, I didn't even try, you know. But Charlie Crabb I did an earlier interview with him, and so he's like the Energizer bunny rabbit. We've become really good friends, and so he also helps me some with Plant Smart Living, with some of my slideshows and so on. And he's a good camera guy. He's teaching me about the camera. So it can also lower your blood cholesterol. My cholesterol was the high 200s, and so now it's a total of 139. So again, another benefit of switching your fuel. Next on the list is prevent and reverse heart disease. Again, the doctors today are taught in most of your medical schools that you cannot reverse atherosclerosis or heart disease. You know, you have to take this pill. And that's really the furthest thing from truth. And so, you know, I would encourage you to think about reading, this is Prevent and Reverse Heart Disease. Prevent and Reverse Heart Disease from Dr. Caldwell Esselstyn, another great book if you're experiencing heart issues, or if you have a friend it would be a good book to share with them. Again, I got to meet him on that cruise. It was a real blessing. And so let's see, continuing down the list here, lower your risk of prostate, breast, and other cancers. And so, you know, what a wonderful benefit that is, that you could lower those risks. Preserve your eyesight in later years. Macular degeneration. I know in the Starch Solution book, Dr. John McDougall speaks about a lot of the benefits of switching your fuel. And one of them is, he talks about macular degeneration. Again, it's basically where your arteries are getting clogged up and causes hearing problems, eyesight problems, lower back problems. It's all caused by poor blood flow in those areas. And so, yeah, another great book I would encourage you to think about reading. It's called The Starch Solution from Dr. John McDougall. It's an excellent book. He covers mostly all these benefits here in his book here. And so, preventing and curing diabetes. You know, it's like, wow, you know, how many people do we know that suffer from diabetes? And, you know, that's the sad thing, having chronic and degenerative disease. I mean, it causes so much pain, needless pain and suffering that doesn't have to happen if you switch over your fuel. All those ailments and all will go away. And so, to prevent and cure diabetes, again, it's not taught in the medical schools. Your doctors are not taught that you can reverse these diseases. Again, these are profit-driven industries, your food industry, your medical industry, and so on. And so, you know, they're out to make a lot of money, and they make the money in treating the symptom, not the cause. And so another great book from Dr. Neil Barnard is Reversing Diabetes Now. That's another great book that I would encourage you to think about reading. And so you can avoid surgery in many instances. You know, again, the mainstream medical system is pills and procedures. That's what they're taught in school. A lot of them have good intentions, but as Dr. John McDougall says, they've been given the wrong tools, you know, and so the doctors are great at fixing, you know, if you have a broken leg or stitches in your arm, they're great at acute care. You know, the patients are happy, the doctors are happy. But when it comes to chronic and degenerative diseases, the best they can do is manage your disease. And so what you see out there in the medical system when it comes to chronic illnesses, it's disease management. And so, you know, these doctors, I say today, they're managers. That's what they are. They'll manage your chronic disease. Again, that's where the money is. And so I tell people this plant-based lifestyle is the best kept secret. You know, you know, the doctors there's no incentive for them to want to talk about plant-based nutrition because there's no profit in for them. It's basically cost-free to change your fuel, you know, getting away from the meats and the dairies and those poisonous foods and, you know, switching over to plant-based lifestyle. It's cost-free, and so there's no incentive, sadly, for the doctors to teach that. And so next on the list is vastly decrease the need for pharmaceutical drugs. And so again, another big benefit. Keeping your bones strong. You know, you hear so much today out there in the so-called nutrition field or medical field that, you know, how we need milk or dairy products that keeps our body strong. And yet the highest rate of osteoporosis in the United States, we have so many issues with that. And so if dairy was so good for our bones, you know, the high rate of osteoporosis or bone problems wouldn't be so high. And so, you know, the idea that dairy is good for us is a big fat lie. Dairy causes digestive issues. You know, the casein in dairy products promotes cancer. And so the way to keep your bones strong, again, look at the Asians. They follow a starch-based diet. And so I know for me, since I've been following this for 3 years, you know, I used to have pains in my hands and my joints, and, you know, all that went away. It's just amazing the benefits. And so avoiding impotence is on the list here. Now, you know, ED, you know, I hope to maybe do a future video on that about ED, the canary in the coal mine. And, you know, the movie Forks Over Knives here. And you can also get that free on Netflix, which is great. And also the movie Cowspiracy is another great documentary you could watch. But on Forks Over Knives, there's a doctor, I forget his name. He talks about ED being a canary in the coal mine. And that's where, you know, impotence, but it has to do with poor blood flow up the male penis. And so it's if you have that suffering from that issue, that's a serious problem you have, because that means that the artery leading up there is half the diameter of the artery in your heart. And so if you're suffering from impotence, you ought to see your doctor and think about switching over to a plant-based lifestyle, because you can clean out your arteries, contrary to what you're taught from your mainstream medical system. Avoiding stroke is next on the list. Again, you know, I think as far as deaths go, heart disease I think is the number one top. Every 30 seconds someone has a heart attack. Every 60 seconds someone dies of a heart attack. Now those are terrible numbers, you know. And so and then you have cancer on the list, and then also third on the list, which was shocking to me, and I learned that from the book The China Study, is physician error. They're the third leading cause of death, you know, is physician error. And so just think you can avoid all that by switching over to a whole food, plant-based lifestyle. And so most of these issues can be avoided. Preventing kidney stones is another added benefit. Keeping your baby from getting type 1 diabetes is another benefit. And so how wonderful it is for parents to be able to train up their children following this type of lifestyle, to begin fueling their bodies with foods that can prevent and reverse all these chronic diseases and live a strong, healthy life. And all the family issues that go on throughout life would also be resolved. Alleviate constipation. Again, dairy is something that paralyzes your whole digestive system, and so you hear a lot of people suffering from acid reflux and so on, and those that type of thing you can get rid of just by switching over your fuel. And so again, the standard American diet, we're just not getting enough fiber in our diets, and so these vegetables and all there's plenty of fiber for our system to keep things moving along. Lowering your blood pressure, again, another wonderful benefit. My blood pressure was like 150 over 90 at one point, and since I adopted a plant-based lifestyle, my blood pressure now is 110 over 70. In fact, it was called Esselstyn. It was saying if your total cholesterol is under 150, you can heart attack proof yourself. I meant to mention that earlier, and so that's just a wonderful hope that offers, is that we don't have to fear dying of a heart attack if we lower our cholesterol. And again, the lowering your blood pressure, that after a while of consuming all this saturated fat from the pork and the beef and the chicken and the butter, the ice cream, all that begins to thicken our blood, and so it causes our heart to have to work harder. It changes the viscosity of our blood, and so when you get rid of all the fatty foods, your system can clean itself out. Your heart's no longer working as hard, and so your blood pressure just comes down, and everybody's happy. And so your family's happy. You alleviate a lot of family worries and concerns about my loved one being sick. And so you can also avoid Alzheimer's disease. And so again, another wonderful benefit of a whole food plant-based lifestyle. You can beat arthritis. And so there again, you can go to Dr. John McDougall's website and read about success stories of people who have beat their arthritis. They no longer suffer from that disease, and so I can't imagine what it was like to live with arthritis and then suddenly be cured of that or healed. It must be a wonderful feeling. I know, like I said, even my hands at one point were starting to cause me problems, and so to have those issues gone is just a wonderful thing in our lives. And so, then next it says and more, and so there's also more benefits that you can reap from switching your fuel. And so it says, these are only some of the benefits, and all of them can be yours. The price, simply changing your diet. A diet of starches, rice, potatoes, grains, legumes, green and yellow vegetables, and fruit. I don't know that it has ever been so easy or so relatively effortless to achieve such profound benefits. And this again was all written by Colin T. Campbell. And so, I would really encourage you to think long and hard about this, changing your fuel. Again, our lives are so short, and life on this earth is very precious. We're only here for a little while, and then we vanish away. We're like a mist that appears for a while, and then we're gone. And so, then lastly here, I just wanted to talk about a new book. It's called How Not to Die. Again, another doctor that I met on the holistic holiday cruise. My wife loves Michael Greger, and so he's a wonderful, friendly, very intelligent guy. Again, and that's one reason why we created Plant Smart Living, is we put the word smart in there to spend some time doing research and study. Again, we're all brought up with the idea that we need this meat, this dairy, that we can't live without it. We need our protein, or calcium. And, you can get protein, and all the protein and calcium we need through plants, not animals. You know, where does the cow get its protein from, or calcium? It gets it from the grass, you know. And so you can avoid the cows and the animals and go directly to healthy foods, and that would be the vegetables and so on. And so, yeah, How Not to Die is a 500-page book. And I know Howie, my son-in-law / cameraman, he's started to read this, and I've read some of it so far, and it just seems to be an excellent book. And so I would encourage you to really think about ordering this if you haven't done already. So anyhow, I just want to thank you for joining me today, and this privilege to be able to go over some of the benefits of a whole food plant-based lifestyle. And so if you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the section below, or if you would like to subscribe to our channel, that would be wonderful as well, so you could receive future videos. So I just hope you have a wonderful day. Until next time, this is Plant Smart Living with Farmer Fred.